So test, gotta see how loud we have to talk.
Hi, hello, welcome.
Smile like
It's a regular smile.
that.
It's crystal clear every day of the year. The struggle straight along the way, but having you by my side makes everything okay. We're watching video clips of all types of shits, laughing out loud. We really hate this crowd, and we don't know where to go. Hopefully, take it slow. Lots of hustler minds will reject and decline our approach to life, and that, well, that's just fine. We wanna let others live because it's none of our business. So you press your chest upon our mess. There's so many minds, hey, I'd like to unwind. See beyond this place, we want a part of this race. We do what we can, you better tough out, man. You're about to pass out or get a pick for the cloud. Why is it so hard out here? And they made it so weird. Try to stay woke and humble and joke. It's fucking hard out here.
Hi everyone, welcome back to It's Fucking Hard Out Here. Today we have our special guest, John Percle. Thank you for joining us.
Thank y'all for having me.
Absolutely. We're going to jump right into it, as they say. Where are you from?
I don't get to introduce myself.
No.
I thought y'all
our show.
I was like, I get my whole. I was preparing for this. Like, do I have to say my full government name or anything?
Do it.
Like,
No,
what do
do
they
it, do
want?
it.
Yeah, go for it.
What do you
So, John Gregory Thomas Percle
Oh, nice.
is the full given name,
Okay.
family name. But from Lake Charles, Louisiana, born and raised there for 25 years. Went there, lived there for, like I said, 25 years. So all throughout my life, graduated from high school, college there. And then
What university's out there?
McNeese State University is McNeese.
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 Never even heard of it before.
McNeese is like the proper way, but like the southern drawl, like the southern way to say it is McNeese.
McNeese?
Yeah.
Okay. I
So
like that.
you always have like a split. Like you can tell who's from Louisiana that goes to that school and who's from out of state by the
Oh,
way
yeah.
that they say that.
Okay.
But like.
That's the test.
Yeah.
The
It is. You're like,
proper
you're,
way and
yeah,
the southern way.
Yeah. Like, you're not from here.
guy's
You're gonna learn how to
nerd.
say it right one day.
Do people
But-
say it right, like, eventually?
Yeah. Like it's just like, you know, anything. Like you being in the south, like you're from the north, and you come down the south, you're gonna pick up that southern,
Yeah.
that southern little accent. But that's just what happens.
Nice.
But yep. And then I moved out here November 2020.
Oh, perfect.
So in
Yeah.
COVID, right?
Like the tail end of COVID is when I
okay.
moved out. And apparently that's like really that was a weird thing to do.
That was
or like
bad? What's
that was
that?
a crazy thing to do apparently.
Yeah.
I didn't think so. I was like,
Did you get a lot of
just
shit
move
for it?
No, people were like, "Are you crazy?"
Oh,
and I
okay.
was just like, "Kind of." Like, is that a bad thing? Like, I like to party. Like, is that what you mean by that? And they were like, "No, like you're insane." And I was like, oh. I was like, it doesn't matter. Like, I'm just
Yeah.
moving away to a different apartment. That's just how I looked at it. I'm just moving to a new spot.
Did you have, like, work set up, or you were just like,
No. I had
man.
fucking nothing. The only thing I had was school. Like I was already, so I moved out here for culinary school.
Oh,
Like that was the whole reason why I moved out here. Like specifically to Austin. I wanted to move away from Lake Charles, but specifically Austin was for culinary school.
okay.
So that was like the only thing I had set up. The apartment and school. I had no job, didn't know anybody. I was just kind of winging it
dang, so
from
you
there
just
on
went
out.
for it.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, but I had to get out of Lake Charles. Like
Yeah.
it was, my time had come. We had just gotten hit with the hurricane and the whole COVID thing. So I was like,
The
dude,
world.
forget this noise. I just
What-
wanted to get out.
What was is culinary school like how they portray it in movies and things? It's just like super intense. Everyone's always yelling at each other. Like, no.
Nah.
Is it just like regular school?
That's the industry. That's the actual like work.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Culinary school is like, that's the best way to put it. Rainbows and sunshines.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, it wasn't difficult at all. It was, the most difficult part was getting like over the hump of being scared and nervous and just like telling yourself like, dude, this is what you're here to do. Like, just do it.
Yeah.
Like, because I remember my first day in the kitchen in culinary school, it was, we were just doing like basic knife skills, like learning how to chop carrots and potatoes, just dumb stuff like that. But it was like how to do like the specific cuts, like a julienne or like a large dice. And I was like one of the oldest kids in my class. Like, I was 25. All these other kids are like 18, 19, fresh out of high school. And I was like, I'm watching them, and like I don't know anybody. I've never been here, and like I'm watching all these, and they're just flying through it, and I'm so nervous, and I'm like I shouldn't be this nervous. Like, I've got at least 6-7 years of experience under my belt from working in kitchens and being a manager. I was like, these kids are kicking my ass. Like, what the hell? And I was so nervous, I cut myself twice on the same freaking finger. And was so scared to tell anybody. I was like in the bathroom wrapping my finger up with paper towels and under the faucet, like just trying to get the bleeding to stop. And I was putting Band-Aids on it. And I was like, you freaking idiot. Like,
they weren't noticing that you were like disappearing and that there was blood everywhere?
No, I tried to make it quick. And I was putting like 2 or 3 gloves on at the same time too. They were just like, oh, this guy's just really clean.
Bleeding all over the place.
He's obsessed about cleanliness.
but yeah, that was. But after that, like it was weird. Like after that first day, I was just like, I was good after that. I got my few cuts in, and I was like, all right, I'm ready to go now. Like,
and you like saved up money too. I mean, obviously you got an apartment, right? So you had enough for that, or were you like living out of your car for a little bit or something?
No. I lucked out with unemployment for COVID.
Okay. That's right.
I was getting paid almost more money, like almost $800 a week for unemployment. So it like per week. Okay. So I was making more money than I could spend with it at the time, or at that time, drink it. I was making more than I could drink at the time. So, so I did that, and then when I went back to work because I was at the casino in Lake Charles working. Okay. I went back for a few months because I got furloughed in March. May they brought me back. In like June, July, I stayed. The hurricane hit around August. They kicked everybody out, and they were just like, everybody evacuated, and they gave us a 60-day grace period where they were going to continue paying us our salaries. So I was on another 2-month vacation.
Wow, that's awesome.
So yeah, I was saving up all that money, and I was living at my friend's house in Baton Rouge for free. He was like, hey, clean the house and cook for me.
Oh yeah.
And he goes, if you can like repair stuff for me, that buys your rent. And I was like, done. So like my first day, I was fixing doors. He's like, dude, when did you get so handy? And I was like, you're screwing a door hinge back together into the wall, dude. They don't take a rocket science to figure this one out. Yeah. And then I would just cook for him. I cook for him every night of the week, except for Mondays. I'd be like, don't ask me to do shit on Mondays. Yeah. Like that's my day off. Yeah. But so yeah, like I just realized that I had more money than I thought I did.
That's insane.
So man. I was good.
Really lucked out.
Oh yeah. So I was good, and I don't think. So like the end of November 2020 is when I moved out here, but I had to go back in Lake Charles for a good little bit for December, for like Christmas and stuff, and then like New Year's Eve. So like I didn't have to get a job out here till January of 2021. Okay.
Oh wow!
And that's when I found and immediately went into. Have not left there at all.
Wow! So that's the only place you worked while being in Austin?
Yeah.
So straight out of school.
Yeah, straight in school, and just continued it. Yeah. But yeah, no, I've never left, but I've always done that with jobs though. Like I've never been one to like jump around. Yeah. Like I find a spot, like I'm picky about where I go, and then I find a spot, and I'm just like, I'm gonna stay here until I get super annoyed, and then I'm gonna leave. Yeah. Or I'm gonna overstay my welcome, and I'm gonna get kicked out. Nice. Because like there was one job, my college job, I was there for like 5 years.
Oh my
Yeah,
god.
it was like from January.
Never had a job that long. Not yet. Almost right
It
now.
was like January 2014 to like November 2018, 2019, something like that. I was there throughout the entire duration of my college, like
wow.
my college tour, I guess you'd call it.
That doesn't seem like a very college student thing to do.
Right.
It wasn't.
Yeah.
No, it wasn't. Especially getting thrown into management at 20 years old.
Yeah.
I started managing at 20 years old, and
Yeah.
I was like, why the fuck did y'all pick me to do this?
Why did they pick you? Do you know? Just.
So I was, at the time, I was just a line cook at this Mexican restaurant.
Okay.
And they were talking about opening up a third location. So they were looking into people to go over, open up the restaurant,
yeah.
and be a manager. But they were also talking about me being a supervisor position in that same restaurant. And this one other line cook comes up to me and he was like, hey man, like he was a cool guy. His name was Don, and we were cool with each other, and he pulls me aside and goes, I'm just gonna tell you straight up, like, it's between you and me.
Oh.
And I was like, I didn't even know that was a thing. I didn't know that my name was being thrown into the ring of fire over here. And he was like, straight up, they're gonna pick you because they like how responsible you are. You show up and whatever.
that's how you do. You show up.
But yeah, you're reliable.
Yeah,
I was like, so I do the easiest part of my job, and
Right.
that's what I get in my
clock in.
reward. But
but
it's true. Like, damn.
it's hard for people to show up. It really is.
Like,
Yeah, we know.
especially in this industry too. But then he said, he was like, the reason why they'll pick me is because I'm older and I don't have as much going on outside of work, because I was still in school.
Oh, yeah.
Like I was,
Okay.
I wasn't even 20. I was like 19 years old,
Yeah.
like
Wow.
a sophomore in college, fraternity guy. Like I didn't give a shit about work.
Yeah.
I was like, all right, if my shift ends here, how quickly can I make it back to the party?
Yeah.
So, but they ended up picking him, and I was like, what the hell? Like,
You were not
it's like he
happy
just
about it?
psyched me out. Like, well, what? Like at the time I didn't care, but when it came out that he got it, I was like, that's a bad choice. Like, I don't like that. Like,
Yeah.
what the hell? And then like 2 weeks later, he gets fired.
No way.
Like,
Yeah.
for like the most, like, I didn't believe the reason either. Like the next day when I came into work after
Okay.
hearing about it, so he was messing around with one of the servers, and said server had a boyfriend. Yeah, so he was the side piece. Well, he got mad that he was still with the boyfriend, that she was still with the boyfriend.
That's funny.
And the boyfriend came to pick her up at work one day, and he did not like that. So
Oh,
he pulls a gun on him in the parking
Oh my
lot.
god.
Yeah.
Escalated.
So like I come into work the next morning, he's not there, and everybody's talking to me. They're like, did you hear about Don? And I was like,
Wow.
nah, what happened? And they told me, and I was like, that's bullshit. What? I was like, y'all picked him over me?
Yeah.
Like, oh, it was bad. And I thought it was a joke, and they're like, nah. So for like a few weeks, we were just out that position. Nobody filled that position.
Huh.
And I go look on my schedule, and they're like, hey, you're not. I was like, am I fired? Because I'm not on the schedule.
Yeah.
They're like, no, you're going over to the new restaurant. You're opening the new restaurant. You're gonna be part of that team. And I was
Wow.
like, this is how y'all tell me I'm getting a promotion?
No, remember I told you like weeks ago.
But yeah, I was like, can we think of a more subtle way to do this besides giving me a heart attack?
Yeah.
Like, I thought I got fired, man.
Yeah.
And then I went over there, and just no training whatsoever. They were just like,
Do it.
yeah, you're going to be
Dang.
thrown into the mix as a manager and just figure it out. And I was
Wow.
like, y'all realize I haven't been trained or anything? They're like, well, you studied management in school, right? Like, you're a management major. And I was like, it's not the same thing at all, dude. I was like, we're talking about like corporate businesses and like hedge funds and all that. I was like, we don't talk about how to be a manager at a Tex-Mex restaurant. Like,
Like, same thing. You got it.
so it was just straight up figure it out. And that's how my whole entire experience of being in the restaurant is. It's just throw yourself in the mix.
I was gonna ask, is that how it is in the industry? They just
Yes.
like go figure it out.
Sink or swim, figure it out. Like, only the strong survive.
Yeah.
Like, you sink or swim. And
That's terrifying.
yeah.
Can be.
I would not survive in an environment like that. I can't do it.
No,
I'd be
it's-
shown. I'm like, nah.
It's
Well, you kind of get shown, like,
Yeah.
but you also see it, like you observe it, and you're like, okay, I think I can do that.
and it's one of those, like, you just gotta like take it head on.
But for management, were you like, I mean, so I guess like technically you were in school, right? So you were like, what managing model am I going to apply here? Like, were you just kind of like, I don't know what to do. I'm just going to.
So honestly, I didn't even use like anything from school.
Yeah.
Like anything from the classroom, I did not use that.
Yeah. Oh,
I
wow.
used a lot from like it sounds crazy, but I used a lot from my experience in the fraternity of like
No, yeah.
being like
Good
a
try.
leader in the fraternity
Right.
and, you know, managing that and like part of the organization. I use that to translate into my work environment.
Yeah.
I use that to kind of help me. And then I also had my dad too on the side because
Okay.
he's been in management for, I mean, it's my whole life is what it feels like.
Yeah.
So I'd go to him about it and just be like, hey, like I've got this problem. Like, what do you think about it? And he's like, well, this is how I deal with it.
Yeah.
I mean, he's not in restaurants. He's a postman. He's supposed to
Crazy.
postmaster.
Entirely different.
Yeah, but like hearing his stories, I was like, it kind of does seem like it's the same. Like management's like very universal on how to deal with people. So I leaned on him a lot for it. So, but back to like the whole like diving into it. I don't know if I've told you this, or I know I've mentioned it about my first shift as a floor manager.
Maybe.
So, it was when I opened up that new location, Tex-Mex restaurant, and I was strictly back of the house. Like I had no experience of front of house at this point, and had no intention on being a server or being a manager in the front of the house.
Yeah.
But we had so many people. I think we had like 5 or 6 managers for this tiny restaurant. Why? Just to be like well-rounded. And so their big thing was you have to learn both sides.
Okay.
In case something happens, everybody can fill in somewhere.
Yeah.
So it was my first training shift on the floor. And I'm up there and the guys, like my buddy is giving me the rundown on how to do all this. And he's like, I'm going to go to the back to talk to the GM and I'm going to go pick up some utensils or whatever. And he's gone for what feels like a lifetime.
Yeah.
And in this time, this large man comes into the door and just beeline straight for the bar. Does not look happy whatsoever. And I was just like, yeah, that's a little weird. And the other there was 2 bartenders. One of them comes around. She's like, you need to keep an eye on this guy. And I was like, is he doing anything wrong? She's like, no, that's Cassie's boyfriend or ex-boyfriend at the time.
Oh.
Cassie's the second bartender. But they are actually engaged. I didn't know. And he called it off with her. This is like a backside of the story. He calls it off with her because he claims he wanted to experience new things before he got tied down and settled down. Well, she goes out the night before with a new guy because he's seen other girls. She's going to be able to see other guys now, right? And she starts posting it. Well, he did not like that.
Yeah.
And he comes in and he's just waiting for her. She's outside smoking. He's just waiting for it. And so I'm like keeping an eye on him. Mind you, this guy is like here. I'm here.
Yeah.
Like I have no business picking a fight, but I'm a 20-year-old cocky little fraternity boy at this time, like big time manager. Like nobody's messing with me. Come on now. And so I go up, like I walk up to the bar and I just look at him like, "How's it going?" He's like, "I'm fine." And I was like, He's like,
That's not what I asked.
yeah, I was like, can I do anything for you? He goes, no. And I was like, all right. And I just walk away. Like such a little wussy. She comes out of the back and into the bar and just starts chewing into her ass, like screaming, yelling, cussing. And I was like, I'm the only one up here. I have to do this.
Yeah.
And I walk up and I was like, yo, like, let's not do this. And he just turns and goes, earmuffs. Mind your own fucking business.
Oh no!
And I was
your business.
I said that.
This is my business.
Like, well, it's not my business. You're in my restaurant.
Yeah.
He gets like up in my face.
Oh, no.
And I'm just like
No.
this, like, and he's like, I'll beat your fucking ass. Like, let's step outside. Like, mind your own business. This and that. And I just start jawing back, like, thinking I'm gonna do anything, like a little pit bull chihuahua mix.
Oh my God.
And I'm just like, why are you getting mad? I was like, you're in my restaurant yelling at me because I told you to stop yelling and cussing in front of my guests, and you want to pick a fight with me? Like, what sense does that make? And in my head, the entire time, I'm like, these words are coming out of my mouth. I'm not thinking any of it because there's one thing on my mind, and it's like, if he hits me right now, how fast am I gonna pass out? Because he's gonna knock me out in one punch. Like what like is gonna happen? Like, how am I gonna tell people this story without sounding like a complete bitch?
How do I save face?
And he ended up leaving and like walking out, he's just talking shit the entire time.
Yeah.
And I'm like shaking.
Yep.
And I turn and look, and the entire dining room is just
Dude.
I was gonna ask if there were people there.
oh, it was a full dining room. Nobody was in the bar. Nobody was in the bar, but the dining room was full. And like all those tables are like looking at me, and they're like, I'm so sorry you had to deal with that. And I was like, you're sorry. You're sorry? And I turned back around, and every other freaking manager that should have been with me, having my back to like pull me away, be like, hey, we'll deal with the big guy.
Yeah.
They're on the other side of the bar. And I was like,
So they were there.
They were there, but they weren't gonna do shit on the other side of the bar.
Oh my God.
And they were just like, are you okay? And I just immediately, I was like, what the are y'all gonna do on the other side of the bar? What if he had hit me? They're like, but he didn't hit you. And I was like, nobody knew that. Nobody knew that. And they were like, but hey, you handled that like perfectly. Like that was the best way you could have handled it. And I was like, really? Really? That was the best way? I was like, you asshole. I was like, how did y'all handle it? Because I think y'all handled it very poorly.
Yeah.
Y'all didn't help me at all.
Good call.
They're like, you might just want to go smoke a cigarette right now. I was like, snatched their pack out of their hands. And I'm sitting out there just shaking. And the girl comes out and she's crying, like bawling, crying. And I'm just like, get away.
Yeah, like no sympathy for you anymore.
Yeah, and she has the audacity to chime in and weigh her 2 cents on this matter. And she's just like, I really thought he was going to hit you. I didn't think you stood a chance. And I looked at her and I just like put my cigarette out and I walked inside. I was like, I can't deal with you right now.
Oh my God. Just trying to help.
It was the most terrifying front. That was my first day on the floor as a manager.
Wow.
I looked at her and I was like, don't ask me to do this shit again.
Right. What age were these people, the couple?
They're around my age.
Yeah.
A year or two older.
Yeah.
Like,
and then these other managers, were they older dudes?
Yeah, same question.
the managers?
Yeah,
they were much older than me. Wow. Like I was saying, I was 20 years old.
Wow.
They were all, I think the closest one to my age at the time was like 26 or 28.
That's so disappointing.
Everybody else was in their 30s.
Jeez. They're like, you went to school, you can handle it, you got this.
Yeah. But they were all like, they all said that same stuff, like, hey, that's how we had to do it. You just have to be thrown into the mix and just figure it out. Like,
Yeah, you had some giant scream in your face.
Yeah, I feel
Yeah.
like when violence is on the
I
line.
left out a very important part. He had a Florida, you don't know what a Fleur de lis is, right? It's
Oh
a,
yes,
football
it's a
thing?
birthmark, right?
Oh, okay.
No.
no, it's a symbol. It's the New Orleans
Oh,
Saints
yeah,
football
yeah,
logo,
yeah.
but it's a different symbol, but the symbol itself is called a Fleur de lis.
Okay.
He had that tattooed on his face.
Yeah.
What?
So like as soon as I saw that from the jump, I was like, this is a classy guy right here.
Yeah.
Like this guy means business, you know?
Yeah.
Like I knew he was there for only professional reasons.
But, so was it for was it a football logo or it was just the leaf itself?
It was just the Fleur de lis.
Does that mean anything? Is it like gang related or something?
No.
What?
It just means he was an idiot.
He's like, I just really like
he's just an idiot and got a face tattoo.
Yeah.
Wow.
Dang. Yeah. Back then, like nobody had face
Yeah,
tattoos.
for real. Is that like the
That was the
start of it?
first one I've ever seen.
Yeah,
In
yeah.
real life, I was like, why do people do that?
Yeah.
Like, that's dumb. Like,
Wow. I mean, it's still not great, even though a lot of people do it now. But
It's trendy. It looks
It's
cute.
trendy, yeah.
It can like frame your face.
is that what it does?
I mean, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I kind of like it.
face tattoos?
Depending, yeah.
Would
I like
you get a
some.
face tattoo?
Yes, I actually want one
Yeah.
still.
She does want one.
So, what and where on your face?
Tell 'em.
All right. Oh gosh, now that I think of it, it's super cringy.
Yeah, you should tell people your ideas. That way you can find out if they're ridiculous or not.
I think I already know they're ridiculous. I think I
I'm
just
saying
came
in
to
general,
the
not just for
realization-
you, like anybody.
All right, so don't do this. I wanted like a set of moons, like on the side of like on my temple. Yeah.
Like, how many is this set of moons?
like I don't know, 3 maybe. So I have really bad skin and like I have marks as well, so I thought I'll play into that and have like, you know, the moon like have like craters and stuff. Yeah. So
You're so brave.
yeah.
Look what you just shared with the whole world.
Yeah, I haven't done that yet.
Can I be there for that?
If I do it, for sure.
Because I can't picture this. I need to see it firsthand.
So like the series of the moons, like the, what is it called? I don't know the words.
Oh, the cycle of the
Phases of the
yeah.
moon.
So, like,
Like a crescent, waning.
crescent,
Yeah.
half, full.
This is funny. When he asked like how many moons or what, he was like the normal kind. The normal
like-
amount of moons.
A handful. So I thought that was a really good idea. When
That's
did
a
I
wild
first think
idea.
of that? I can't believe I even told you about it. Yeah, because I don't think I've told anybody at all.
Either way, I'm
Yeah.
sure it was
So,
a while
but
ago.
now, like being in management, I don't know if I can do that. You think?
Probably not.
You think he would let me?
Nah,
Probably.
you'd have to
not.
open up your own shop for sure. Be your own boss to be
hard.
able to do that.
Yeah, you have to be your own boss.
Well, I guess I'll put that on the back burner. So,
It's all good.
where did it
But-
go from there? Like, that's your great start. Was it chill after that?
For front of the house, no.
It never got better.
I mean, it definitely like idled down for a little bit, but it have its waves, you know.
Yeah.
There was one time that same restaurant, you all know like the claw machines,
Yeah.
like a little toy.
yeah.
Yeah.
We had 2 of them one time, and one of them fell on a kid.
What?
Like
Did they die?
Very good question. Very good question.
It was one of the smaller ones. Like it was probably no bigger than that bookshelf right
Okay,
there.
yeah.
But it was I don't know why. It was on wheels.
Crazy.
The thing was on wheels. So we had a baseball team, like a youth baseball team, come
Okay.
in from a tournament.
Okay.
All the kids are running around. The parents are, getting shitty on, pitcher margaritas.
Nice.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And they're up at the claw machine just shaking the thing like it's gonna
To get
help
something out.
yeah like it's gonna help them. And I'm like, I knew these kids are gonna be trouble, and I'm in the bar at this point, and I'm just sitting there watching them, and I can see it like tilt, and I was like, that thing's gonna fall on this kid. Like, I know it.
Oh my god.
And it leans over just enough to where I know. So I start taking off running around to the front.
God.
And he's like, I went back and watched it on camera, but like it was hilarious.
Yeah.
It
I'm
was
terrified.
It was hilarious. After the point though, during the time, I wanted to kill the kid. If that claw machine wasn't gonna kill the kid, I was. But like he realizes it's fallen, and he just spread eagles, and it's just like trying to hold it up, but it's so. It's too far gone now, and then some other kid tries to help him up, and it just flat on the kid. I had two servers like sitting at the host stand, which is right by it.
Yeah.
They immediately like ran up to him, like I could see it, you could see it on camera, like immediately, like they were on the scene, and it looked like they were about to run and just like mom shrink that shit and just lift it up, and they ran over and they bent over and they were just like, no. Pulled away from it. I gave them so much shit. I was like, what's the point of even running over there?
Yeah.
So like, the parents see me running and they start running too. And there was a dad who saw it like just a split second before I did. So he was on there lifting. I go and I help him lift it up. And this little shithead gets up laughing. And that's when I was like, oh, I'll beat a child right now. I will beat a child. But his dad got to him, and his dad tore him up.
Aww.
Like, his dad tore my voice to the machine did.
Yeah.
And that's when the kids started crying. But luckily, after that, all the kids had to go sit down for the rest of the dinner. I was like, thank God. Like,
Oh my God.
But I turn around, and I'm livid at this point. And I turn around, my entire kitchen staff is outside in the dining room. They're like, what are y'all doing? They're like, we saw you run and we thought it was a fight. We wanted to back you up. And I was like, get back in there. Leaving food on the hot stove. Like, I was like, thank y'all, but go back to work.
Where were they whenever that big dude was around?
Exactly. Well, that was this is like a year later. They'd all knew about that. So they're like, oh, we see Percle run. It's something that's going down. So like, we're getting in on that. I was like, get back in there, guys.
Oh my gosh. If I would have seen that, I would have screamed and been like crying because I thought I just watched a child die. Like, it's a claw machine.
But like you said, it was a small one though. If it was the big one, I would have been like, we got to call somebody. But
yeah, I think you could probably tell how like damaging it was going to be for
Laughing?
them. So that's why it was hilarious, especially when you spread eagle. Like, come on,
I know.
catching that thing.
It was pretty funny.
Dude, I've seen videos of adults trying stupid shit like that. You know, like there's like a forklift or whatever in a warehouse, and they have like a stack of, I don't know, whatever it is. But you know that thing weighs like close to like a half a ton or whatever. And it starts tilting over, and some idiot's like, oh, I got it. And I'm like, no, you don't.
It's
like,
natural
what is wrong
instinct.
with
Like,
you?
I can do this.
Nah.
Superman has taught me well.
And
That is terrible.
Yeah, they definitely died though. It's just like, that's what happens, dude. You can't stop those things.
They weren't so lucky.
I didn't get up giggling. No, definitely not.
Hey, Reddit's a crazy place, y'all. You can see lots of fucked up things on there.
Yeah, no.
But yeah, if there was a kid, you know, you can tell, like, okay, no, he's all right. But
Well, I mean, were they like teenagers or like 10-year-olds?
No, yeah, that's probably a fair guess.
Yeah.
But I'm
In
glad
that
they learned the
range.
lessons, like, because like you said, after they got it off of him or whatever, he was laughing. I'd be like, oh no,
Yeah, no.
like, you learned nothing here.
That's when we were like, hey, like, do we need to call somebody, like an ambulance? And the dad was like, I'm a doctor. He's fine.
Oh my
And I
gosh.
was like, dude, this could not have worked out any perfect.
Do you think he was really a
Thank
doctor?
you. Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, he was legit. He was having to get because when all that happened, he was one of the cool fun dads I could tell from that table. And then when that happened, he was all business, and I was like,
yeah.
you're definitely a doctor. I was like,
God.
he was like, yeah, no, he's fine. He's just embarrassed. Like, he's upset because he's embarrassed I tore his ass up. And I was like, hey, whatever works,
whatever
man.
it takes.
Discipline your own
Yes,
kids. So.
They don't get it, man.
But it was fine after that. We had to fill out some
Incident reports.
incident reports just for
yeah.
for HR, but other than that, like, it was
Yeah.
fine. That was legit the last we heard of it.
Yeah,
So-
nobody came back and did anything.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, because that's a lawsuit.
Yeah, if somebody actually,
Yeah.
Someone's getting sued.
yeah, that would have been bad. And that's what the owner, like, we told the owner about, and we're laughing. He's like, "This isn't funny." We're like, "No, it's okay. Like,
Yeah.
these guys aren't gonna do anything."
Yeah.
Like, they didn't even want us filling out incident reports because they were
Yeah.
just like, "Let's just put this under the table. Like,
Yeah.
let's
Oh my
never
gosh.
worry about this again."
I love
my
that. I
gosh.
love
Yeah.
people like that. I'm like, all right, yeah. There's no
That
need
was
for it.
perfect.
I would be a terrible manager. I'd be like, yeah, cool. We're not feeling shit out
the
there.
easy
No
way
blood,
out
you're
of
all
this.
good? All right.
I just hate all that kind of stuff, man. I feel like it's just too formal. I'm like, why are we even like, why? It's not
Because a
needed.
child almost died.
Yeah.
If the parents are cool with it, hey, what's the problem? It was their fault.
Yeah, and I think that's why I've enjoyed working at like mom and pop restaurants or like locally owned restaurants instead of corporations.
Okay, yeah.
Because I did both. Started there, then I went corporate working at a casino, and then
okay.
back to Mia's, which is like a locally owned, and just the freedom that you get
Yeah.
between a corporation and
Yeah, that's true.
it's insane. I hated working at the casino
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
because of like you said, like you don't have that little like freedom to skate around and like
Yeah.
not hey, we don't have to fill this paperwork out. Cool, like no.
What were you doing at the casino? Same thing?
So the casino, I was strictly front of the house. I got away from the kitchen
Wow.
and went straight front of the
Okay.
house and was doing.
I was going to ask, what does front of the house mean? I'm not familiar with like
really?
what she
What
does.
she
Okay.
What she does. So I started off I got hired on as a supervisor at the sports bar at the casino. Did that for 6 months, and they gave me a promotion that I had no choice of receiving.
Again?
Yeah, they were like, they made it sound like it was an option. They're like, "Hey, we have a position opening up. We want you to take it.
Yeah.
Come to us by Wednesday with an answer." And I was gonna turn them down. I was like, I don't want to
Oh,
go.
wow.
I didn't want to go to this. It was the Asian restaurant. They were like, "You're gonna be an assistant general manager. Here's a pay raise, promotion, job title, and it'll be at the Asian restaurant." I was like, I don't want to go there. I was like, I didn't like the hours. I didn't know anything about Asian food.
Yeah.
And I knew that their entire clientele did not speak English. So I was like, I just don't know how I'm going to fit in there.
Yeah.
And their entire staff, they've been there for like 4, 5, 6 years. Like
Yeah.
they've had the same
They're settled.
staff.
Yeah.
Like, and they're good. Like
Yeah.
that was a well-oiled ran machine.
Yeah.
And I was just like, I just don't know how they're going to take the new guy coming in and, you know,
Right. Yeah.
like I felt like I wasn't going to fit in.
Telling them what to do
Yeah,
and how to do
definitely.
So-
it. Like, yeah.
Odd man out for sure.
And I really liked the restaurant that I was at the sports bar. I really liked it. I love the people. I love the hours. I love my bosses. I loved everything about it. And I just made the decision. I was like, I'm going to go turn them down and take this risk because I knew I was probably going to be let go eventually one day because I turned them down.
Oh, okay.
So I'm walking to the director of food and beverage, who was like the overall boss of all the restaurants in the casino.
Yeah.
I was walking to his office, and just by the grace of God, coincidence, the general manager of the Asian restaurant just happens to be walking down the same hallway that I'm walking, and he's like, "How you doing, John?" I was like, "I've had one conversation with this guy, and I didn't like him." And so I was just like, "What are you talking to me? Like, this is sketchy."
Yeah.
He's like, "How's it going? How you doing?" He goes, "Have you given the job any thought yet?" And I was like, "I'm actually going to Odrin's office right now to give him my answer." He goes, "That's funny. I'm going to his office right now too."
Oh no.
And I was like, "What the hell, dude?" I was like, "This is a setup."
Yeah.
And I get to his office, like we both walk into his office at the same time.
so awkward.
And he goes, "So when's John starting?" And I was like, what the
Dang.
I was like, he goes, well, it depends on his schedule with the other restaurant. And I was like, I'm looking at them both like, did I not have a say in this at all?
Yeah.
And they were like, yeah, you're going to start here. Like, when can you, like, you need to get with Tim and let him know your schedule and let him know that you're moving. Dude, I was heartbroken. I was like, dude, this sucks. Like, I didn't come here for this job. I came here for the other one. Y'all are just moving me like that. And they were like, well, what would your schedule want to be? I was working nights at the time. And I was like, I can finagle this now. Like, I might be able to get some good out of this. And I was like, if I come on board, I'm only working mornings. So I want all my nights off. Yeah. And they're like, okay, you come in at 10, you'll leave at 6. And I was like, perfect.
Oh, wow.
Dang.
So I was leaving at 6 every day, like being able to have somewhat of a life after work.
What did you tell them anything? Like, I don't want this job. Why are you just giving it to me?
No, I felt so like pinned into a corner, and I've never been put in a position like that before.
Okay.
Yeah.
So like I was shell shocked. I didn't know I didn't know how to act, and I was just like, we're just gonna learn from this. Like, but a lot of good came out of that though, because just being around that cuisine. Like, and learning from it, like a lot of people will always say, like, if you can master or learn Asian cuisine, you can go and do anything in this industry.
Wow.
Really?
Because it's so like it's a crazy cuisine.
Yeah.
And like there's a lot that comes from it. So like if you can get really good and study that, you can be a very successful restaurateur or a chef or whatever. So I was like, I'm just gonna look at the positives from it. And but it ended up working out because the staff was really great there.
Oh, that's awesome.
Like I loved that staff.
Solid staff. They were
very solid. They were all old, like older people, and they were just mature and just, you know, they're here to do one thing. They're here to come in and make their money, and then they want to go home.
Yeah.
And I was like, but they work a full shift. Like they were hard workers too.
Nice.
Like you didn't have to worry about them skimping out or anything like that. Like they did their stuff, and
that's nice.
They were all very, very nice, sweet people, and I like immediately welcomed me with open arms. So I was like,
yay.
so I was like, this is good. And I go back, like anytime I go back home, I try and go see them. Like,
No way.
That's
yeah,
cool.
because they're all still there. Like I remember, like I walked up to the host stand, and I like. It was a new girl. Like they interchange hosts, like like that. But like their serve staff, like they're always there. Yeah. Like they've always been there. And so like I just walk up to her and I was like, "Hey, what's the rotation looking like?" And she's like, "What?" I was like, "Yeah." I was like, "It's 5:15 right now. I know they're all upstairs in their server meeting doing a pre-shift." I was like, "How much longer till they come down? I get a table." And they were like. She was like, "How do you know all this?" And I was like,
some random guy.
Yeah, I was like, don't forget. I was like, I used to be a manager here. Like, so I was like, I know. I was like, who's working tonight? Is it? And I named everybody because I was like, it's Sunday. These are the people that are going to be working. And I named them all. And she's like, what the hell?
So
great.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. She's like, who do you want? And I was like, whoever's got the open table. Like, I don't care. They're all great servers. So. Yeah. But yeah, they were good.
That is very cool.
Solid staff, and like they've had no trouble like staying open or anything like that ever.
Well, so it's like part of the casino?
Yeah, it's inside the casino, so it's always open. Yeah. And that's the restaurant that stays open late. Like I think we used to close at 12 o'clock. No, it was 2 o'clock.
Oh my gosh.
We used to close at 2 o'clock in the morning during the week. Yeah. And then weekends it was 3 o'clock.
Ew.
Yeah, so it was... Yeah, the hours suck.
Was that the only restaurant that would stay open that late? Or okay.
Yeah.
Really?
Well, why? So we had that one, and then you had like the cafe, which you would. I mean, you just go and grab stuff. Like it was pre-made stuff. Okay. You just go grab it, pay for it, and then that one was 24 hours.
Okay.
But I mean, if you want to count that as a restaurant, you can. But like we were the only one that stayed open that late. And that one was hard, but that was what I didn't like the most about that was because like that started putting me into a dark place, like because it messes with your head a little bit. You go into work at 6 o'clock one day,
Yeah.
Your shift ends 3 a.m. the next day.
Yeah.
Like your sleep schedule's all messed up.
Yeah.
Like it's very noticeable how much of your life you're losing.
Right.
And it just like you get in a real deep depression stage. And
Yeah.
I remember like just really being alone at that time in my life, and I was just like, yeah, I don't really like that.
Yeah.
So when COVID came around, I was like, cool, I need a break from this. And they weren't going to bring me back during COVID. Yeah. So I was hired on the recommendation of the sports bar manager.
Yeah.
Okay.
And they didn't really like him. He was not on their good side.
Oh no.
He wasn't on their good side. So when like it came time to like start bringing people back and getting the casino up and running again, they were very selective on who they were going to bring back and who they were just going to cut ties with. And it was like people who they didn't like. And if you made a lot of money, you were not getting called back.
Oh, wow.
They were just trimming fat off. And I was making a lot of money for the position that I was in.
Yeah.
And like I was getting promoted quickly because I was at the casino for 6 months before I got promoted. And I was like, that's fast, like for this. And it was like I did the math, it was like a 13.5% raise that I'd gotten within 6 months. So
Dang.
they were just like, it's best to just, so I understood it, but I just like, I understand it from the corporate standpoint, but I just thought it was, I wasn't from that world.
bad.
It's
Yeah.
shitty.
Yeah.
It's so shitty. I was like, how can y'all have this much faith in me to want to promote me and run your business, but then you're just going to cut me loose?
Yeah.
They forced it on you, essentially.
Yeah, exactly.
So exactly.
Yeah.
And so I just had that feeling that they weren't going to bring me back because they had brought every other manager back except for me.
Wow.
And they were getting their asses kicked.
Really?
And I'm just at home, like, just upset, drinking my anger away. And they're at work getting their ass kicked. And they're texting me, like, have you heard anything? Like, or like, when are you coming back or whatever? And I was like, they haven't called me. Like, I don't know what to do at this point.
Jeez.
Well, they bitched about it so much. They were like, if y'all are going to make us stay open, at least fulfill our staff. Because I think they were the only restaurant open at the time. So they were getting killed.
Yeah.
They're like, at least staff us up.
Yeah.
That was the only reason why I got brought back. It's because they bitched about it enough.
Damn.
Dang.
So I came back.
Good job, team.
And I was just bitter.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to be there anymore.
Yeah.
And
Wasn't
like
good.
I just gotten off like a 3-month vacation. So I was like, I don't want to be here anymore. And then the hurricane hit and they were like, we'll give you 60 days grace period. We're going to keep paying you your salary, but it ends October 31st. We need to know if you're coming back or not. And at that time, I got a call from my apartment complex, and they were like, if you just want to opt out of your lease, there's no penalty. You just got to be moved out by this day. And I was like,
damn.
done. I was
Yeah.
like, so I packed my shit. I went back home. I packed my apartment up, put it in my parents' house, and I was living in Baton Rouge on no work and making money, sitting around the house.
Dang.
And they called me up and they're like, when are you coming back to work? Like, we need to check. And I was like, oh, I'm not going to be back till like October. And they're like, really?
Ooh.
And I could hear it in her voice. She was like,
Yeah.
coincidence, that's when this pay period ends. And I was just like, they're like, why can't you come back? And I was like, I have nowhere to live. They're like, you don't have anywhere to stay, like family, friends? And I was like, I have a dog. And I'm not about to burden anybody else with that animal. My apartment is unlivable, and my parents' house is completely damaged. I was like, they're finding a spot in Baton Rouge. I'm going to be with them. So I'm going to be living in Baton Rouge for the next few months. I'll let you know when I come back, like when I'm ready to come back.
Yeah.
And they're like, okay. And I waited till the period was over of getting paid, and that's when I applied for school.
Hell yeah.
And I was on the phone that whole week with the school here in Austin, like trying to get in, and I got accepted. And as soon as I got accepted, I called him. I was like, "Hey, I'm not coming back. I'm quitting." They're like,
They
"What?"
had to have known.
No, I don't think they did. I really think they just believed that I was just riding on their free penny.
Right, yeah. that'd be
Until
the
you couldn't.
safe
And
assumption.
until I couldn't,
Dang.
which I mean, in a sense I was, but
Right.
I had a legitimate plan. I was like, I'm going to culinary school out of state. So like,
Dude, that's crazy.
thank y'all for everything, but like, I'm out.
Yeah.
Man. Who was it? The general manager was cool about it. He was like, hey man, do what you
Yeah.
want. Like,
That's nice. At least
yeah,
you
he
had some
was cool
support.
about like, and he was always a guy. I always thought like we didn't really like each other or like didn't really care for each other.
This is the
because-
guy from the hallway, right?
Yeah, yeah. This is the
yeah.
guy from the hallway. Like, cause we would just like, in the middle of a rush, he'd get really like short tempered and like just pissy with people, and he'd like pop off at people, and I hated that. And
Yeah.
I was like, hey, you're not doing that to me. I'd pop right off to him, but I didn't realize how much he actually kind of liked me, and I felt like an asshole about it. Because like the first time I went back, like after I moved here,
Yeah.
I went back home and went and had dinner there. I brought 2 friends, and we racked up like a $200 bill.
Wow.
And I was like, hey, like we're ready for the check, and our server's like, Jeff didn't tell you? Like he took care of the whole thing. And I was
my
like, what? Just didn't come
What's
talk to us or anything, just comped our whole meal.
Didn't even say, like, didn't even give you a heads up?
No, nothing.
That's awesome.
Like he just took care of the whole thing. I was like, I feel like an asshole now. Like,
You're just like, racking
yeah,
it
I mean,
up.
that was cool. I went and talked to him and whatever. I
Okay.
thanked
Yeah.
him, but I was like he is a lot nicer of a guy than I gave him credit for. Like, but it was good.
That's interesting. Yeah, I wouldn't expect that, especially for
No
someone
way.
like that.
No,
This
it
guy's
caught
a
it caught
jerk,
me off
man.
guard. Yeah. But apparently that's a culture thing. Like I remember some other guy right before I went and worked there, he was like, he's gonna be an asshole to guests, like
Yeah.
of his ethnicity.
Okay.
And he was like, you can't do that. He goes, I know you're gonna see him do it. You can't do that though, because that's just a culture thing in their culture. Like, he's a man of power in this position. Like,
Yeah.
he's gonna be respected and he's gonna demand respect.
Okay.
And I was like,
okay.
That's wild.
cool. And like I saw it, I was like, do your
Yeah.
thing, man.
Yeah.
Do your thing. He'd be up at that host stand just yelling at people. Or like just
What?
like
That's crazy.
yeah. I could never understand him. He'd speak Vietnamese to him,
Yeah.
but it's like, man, I wish I could speak Vietnamese. It's just so I can know what's going on.
I didn't realize they were aggressive like that, culturally speaking.
Yeah.
It just like was just straightforward, or what? Just kind of like telling them how it is. Like, hey,
Yeah.
what do you want me to do?
Like a lot of those guests are addicts, gambling addicts.
Okay.
So like they just have this concept built in their head that like they can, like, I'm spending money at this casino resort.
Yeah.
I can do whatever I want.
Oh yeah.
And then he's just a very no nonsense type person.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
he was just like, no, that's not how.
Yeah,
like, you're not going
that's
to tell
fair.
me what to do.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I'm telling you how this is done. We're going to take care of you and give you your food, and give you a nice experience, but
Yeah.
you're not running the show here.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's me.
Yeah.
That's
I'm
wild to
creating
me,
your
I know.
experience, yeah.
Just like that, I don't know, the consumer, like customer, like privileged mindset. Just like I get whatever I want when I want.
So, like,
No,
it's
not how this works.
Yeah.
it's bad at any restaurant.
Yeah.
It's 1,000 times
Yeah.
worse at the casino.
Yeah. Oh my god.
1,000 times worse.
Really?
Oh, like
Just because of that, like, clientele, like the people that are there.
yeah, it's the clientele and it's the casino. It's the whole casino concept of spoiling their guests.
Oh, right.
So when you have these gamblers come in and you spoil them by ranking them based off how much money they're spending.
Oh my
I don't know
gosh.
if y'all are familiar with the
No.
casino system.
No.
So they rank your gamblers, like your people that are constantly coming in, staying at your resort, and they're spending a lot of money and they're losing a lot of money.
Yeah.
You're gonna rank them, and it was like beginner, like second level. Then you had 2 levels in between. You had elite and owner's member. Owner was the highest grade that you could be, and like you're spending millions of
Yeah.
dollars a
Oh
year
my gosh.
to be in that status.
That's nice.
Elite is a good 6 figures,
insane.
like anywhere's between like $100 to $1 million.
Yeah.
You're spending that much money.
That's cool.
So, and like, obviously, with that title comes perks.
Yeah.
Some very, very nice perks. You're getting
Okay.
the nicest rooms. You're getting these most special treatment. Like, all those people, they have butlers, or like like
wild.
when they come in, they have their own casino host who's like clearing spots for them at the tables, making sure they have their favorite spot. Like, they're getting
my
served their
gosh.
favorite booze.
Okay.
Like, they're reserved. They're the ones doing these people don't lift a finger.
Yeah.
And then you have, like, if they come up to the restaurant, this is always I hated this. If they come up to my restaurant and we're on a 2-hour wait because we're that busy, and they come up and they just slap that owner's member card down, I have to stop everything that I'm doing.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah.
I hate that.
Stop legit everything I'm doing. And they're like, I have a table of 2.
Yeah.
I got to go find them a table.
Yeah.
And they get to jump everybody, and I got to go sit them down.
It's like, yes, you do. Right this way.
So, like, on top of
Oh
the
my
headache,
gosh.
on top of the headaches of running a restaurant that you deal with,
Yeah.
now you got to deal with this.
Yeah.
Then once you deal with that, you got to come back and explain to all these pissed off people that don't understand this system. You got to explain it to them and be like, this is the reason why they cut you, and you're going to have to wait an additional 15 minutes on top of your 2-hour wait now.
Yeah.
And it was a headache. And there was some people that, like, you had those owners that I was like, ma'am, I can't do anything about this. Like, we are filled. Like, and we would, on busy nights, we had a restaurant that was connected to us. Like, the kitchens were together. So, like, it was one door and a wall that separated our dining room from theirs.
Whoa.
We would have to use part of that dining room on nights that we knew we were going to be stupid busy.
Yeah.
We would use, like, 10 tables from that dining room.
Oh my
Crazy.
gosh, that's a lot.
Yeah. It was insane. And then we'd block off everything else.
Yeah.
And so we'd have 3 dining rooms,
Yeah.
and then a half of another one.
Yeah.
And to be completely full, and they're like, I want a table. And I was like, I can't do that. Physically, I cannot do that.
Yeah.
And they just get pissed off, and they're like, well,
Yeah.
I'm an owner. And I was like, I understand that, but, like,
Yeah.
physics.
Yeah.
Like, I don't have a physical table
No
Yeah.
table,
to
literally.
sit you at. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know what you want me to do. As soon as one table gets up and I clean it, it's all yours. Like, your name is written all over for it. I'll write your name myself. But, like, you're gonna have to wait. And I remember, like, that was an incident one time, and this woman was just bitching about it and, like, wouldn't leave my host stand. I was like, ma'am, like, I'll get you a table, right? Like, I'll sit you down right here on your bench so you don't have to stand up with your walker. You can sit here. You're just going to have to wait. Well, then this other owner member comes up for the same thing, to cut in line.
Yeah, yeah.
And he was actually cool about it. Like, he was a regular in our restaurant, so, like, he understood. Like, but he was one of those, like, I get my way. I like it done a certain way. And she starts bitching to him, like, they don't have a table, you might as well not even. And he just looks at her and goes, if they don't have a table, there's nothing they can do about that. They're busy. And I wanted to start crying. I was like, thank you.
That
For you to say that in the midst of all this shit going on right now just means so much to me right now. And that's the thing, they didn't even know each other. And he was just like, he's like, listen, he goes, who are you with, ma'am? She goes, just me. And he goes, well, I have 2 other people. You want to sit with me? So, like, he was like, put us down for 4 people, and we'll just share a table together. And I was like, all right, cool. And I had a table, and, like,
And she was okay with that?
yeah, shit like that happens at the casino all the time.
Wow.
Yeah.
People will just join tables together just so they don't have to wait. Or, like, they'll go meet somebody in the casino gambling. They're like, you're a cool guy. Like,
Yeah.
you want to go grab a bite to eat together?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
they do that. Like,
Oh,
it happens
right,
all
all
the
the
time in
time.
the casino. Like,
Yeah.
it's weird. Like, that's, like, a very common practice in the
Wow.
casino business. Like,
Imagine that.
yeah.
Yeah, I had no idea. I had no idea about, like, I mean, I knew a little bit about the culture of casinos, where it's like you just You just like feed them whatever they want. You are
Oh, yeah.
pouring drinks constantly. You keep them in there spending money, and like that's the main goal. Like, but I didn't know about these benefits.
The resort side of it. Oh yeah, it's
That's wild.
it's
I had no
insane.
idea.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I thought you just had like people that were there all the time, like addicts. Like, yeah. I knew drink service was a thing, right? Like, especially if you're like winning or whatever, they'll like bring you drinks constantly, like,
Yeah.
whatever you want. But that's as far as I am, like, the extent
Yeah,
of my
no,
knowledge.
the resort side is just as bad.
Wow.
Just as
wild.
bad.
I mean, yeah, and like you had mentioned earlier, it's already bad enough just with like any regular restaurant. You know, people are so freaking entitled.
Oh, yeah.
They just like throw fits all the time.
I've had so many people at that casino tell me to go fuck myself just because they didn't get their way.
Yeah.
Like,
I'm
they're-
sorry. That's no, I can
Like,
imagine that sucks for
one
sure.
one woman called me a child. She
Yeah.
was like,
Yeah.
"Get away from me, you child!" Just because I wouldn't accept her wrong payment.
Yeah.
Like she was trying to. It was another one of these owner members. She was trying to pay with like a voucher, like that they give out every few months to these
Yeah.
big spenders. But her voucher was for like the outlet stores, like the antique shop
Oh,
or like
yeah.
the clothing stores.
yeah.
And she's trying to pay her food with it.
Yeah.
And it's the way that these vouchers work is if it's $320, you have to spend $320 because if you only spend $60 on your food,
Yeah.
that money it doesn't transfer over to
Yeah.
anywhere else. It's just gone. Like
Oh, crazy.
you miss your opportunity. And we were trying to explain that to her, like, it doesn't work like that, man. We're sorry. Like, you just have. I was like, listen, we can work this out. I was like, I can tell y'all are drinkers by y'all's table. And I was like, if y'all just want to buy some wine, I'll box it up and y'all can take it up to your room. I don't want that. Like, just cash me out and send me on my way.
Cash you out.
And I was like, okay. Well, I look at the voucher and I was like, ma'am, I can't even accept this. This isn't for food and beverage. This is for retail. And she was like, I'm gonna call my host. So just get away from me, you child. And I was like, ma'am, I'm 24 years old. Like, and I've got a big ass beard. Like, I was like, if I was clean shaven, baby face, I completely understand.
How about it?
But like, I was like, I haven't looked like I was a child in a long time, man. I was like, how dare you?
That's so crazy.
Yeah.
And I was so offended by just that one like minor comment. Like
Yeah.
it irked my freaking nerves the rest of the
Yeah.
day. And the property manager of like the entire casino, the general manager, was just walking by, and I flagged him down. I stopped him. And I was like, hey, like, you've been in this business a lot longer than I have.
Yeah.
Like, your job is to get criticized and ridiculed and shamed by these people. Like, and that's legit. As his position, that's what, like, you take shit all the time.
Yeah.
And he's just like, he doesn't break character. He's just stone cold. Like, I've never seen him have any other emotion than just, like, it was
Yeah.
crazy. So I was like, I want to pick your brain about something. Like,
Yeah.
I had this incident happen today, and I was like, what would you do in this situation? And he looked at me, and he was like, I don't care what they tell you. Because if they insult you, if they insult your family, you put a smile on your face and you do whatever they tell you. And I had one thought in my head, and it was just, go fuck yourself.
Yeah. I was like, no.
I was like, you can talk shit on me all you want. I don't care. But
Yeah.
if you say something about my family, like, you better put your gloves on because my hands are already up. Like, that's where I draw the line.
Damn, man.
Dang.
For a freaking
like,
voucher.
yeah, and that logic, I didn't understand. I didn't like it, and I was like, no, like, I'm not
It's
that.
not natural.
Yeah, I'm not the help.
Yeah.
Like, you're not gonna sit and insult me after I'm serving you. Like, no,
Right.
we're people. We're gonna respect each other.
Yeah.
And
It's weird how that disconnect is there, and it's just like because you're serving somebody or because you're taking care of somebody and somebody's taking care of you. I don't get that just super huge disconnect where it's just like you're lower than me. Like no matter what,
yeah.
you're just like terrible.
that's the worst part about being in this industry, and it takes, like, a lot of chefs will say it takes the joy away of cooking because
That
like
sucks.
they spend all this hard time creating just
Yeah.
beautiful art for you,
Exactly.
and people appreciate it, but they don't appreciate it at the same time. Like they
Yeah.
enjoy it, they appreciate it and they enjoy it because they're gonna eat it.
Yeah.
But that's where it ends. Like
Right.
they're not gonna thank you. Like we don't get thanked at Mia's.
No,
Like
no.
it's very rare that
Yeah.
a table will come by the kitchen and say, "Thank y'all."
Yeah.
Like just a simple thank you, or like even like a hey, y'all have a good night. Like that means the world to us.
Yeah.
And like I've told guests that I was like, we don't ever get that. So like
Oh,
when
wow.
y'all do this, like it means a lot to my kitchen staff. It means a lot to me because we just don't get that recognition.
Right.
And
Yeah, exactly.
we're back here sweating our ass off, like pumping out food for y'all, and
Yeah.
people just walk by and look, like give us a glare and just
Yeah, they
Keep
look
going,
so
like-
badly. And like the restaurant, it's so cute. It's got an open kitchen and it's just like it's really adorable like how much you're immersed in the experience. You can see that they're creating it right there. You see the food come right up and it's coming directly to you. Like we work fast. And it's just like it's so weird that like I have to go up to the table and be like, "Hey, are you having a good time?" Like I want to know. I need to know.
yeah.
Because otherwise, it's only the weirdos that are like, "Hey, let me talk to your chef."
Yeah, and even that's rare.
Yeah, it's not as common. Yeah,
Do you mean weirdos? Like they're strange individuals, or it's just
Strange
a weird
individuals.
thing for them to do? Okay.
yeah, because it's usually just the strangest individuals that are like, "I really want to talk to all your people right now about what you're
Yeah.
doing
Huh.
in your restaurant."
Why do you think that is? Why do y'all think that is?
They need attention.
Oh,
Yeah, that's it.
it's pretty simple.
They just like to hear themselves talk.
Yes, they don't care like about what you're gonna tell them about the food that you just made for them or the service or anything. They just want you to know about their entire experience
Yeah.
and like how it just like their life basically. Like one guy is just gonna come in and show you all the pictures of all the other places he's been.
Yeah, and they can compare his experience to where he's at now to everywhere else he's been.
Yeah.
Like, oh man, that one.
This is me having the
That
same
bugs
dish at
me.
Charlie's. That
Yeah. I've gotten that
Just
before.
like
Like
that.
this dish was so good, and I've had something similar. Here, look at it, and I'm just like,
Yeah.
keep that to yourself,
Yeah.
man.
I don't
Like,
have any friends.
I'm happy you're excited,
Yes,
but like,
it's true.
come on.
Yeah,
Like-
yeah. That's a lot to put on.
Yeah.
Like staff at a restaurant. It's like, hey, I gotta go. Like, there's other people ordering food.
Oh my
right
gosh,
now.
they
Like,
don't get that. Especially if they talk to a chef and you're like, I'm still working.
Yeah.
People are ordering
That's so
food.
wild.
That like I've done that before. I've gotten like caught up with just talk. Like if a friend comes in, I'll
Yeah.
get like there was one guy I used to live with back in college. Him and his fiance came in, and I hadn't seen them in years since I moved, and I found myself. I think I was at the table for an hour.
Oh
Like,
my gosh.
We were slow. We were slow
Okay.
though. We were
Somebody would have come by.
really slow, but I just got caught talking to him, and I was like,
Yeah.
"Oh man, I feel so bad right now for leaving them." Like,
Your whole
and it just
team's
kept
like,
running
what the
through my
hell?
head, and I
Yes.
couldn't get away because like I tried like create the conversation to where I can like, all right, cool, I'm gonna
Like,
just
close
step,
it? Yeah.
close it and step away, but then he'd follow up and be like, oh wait, that's interesting. Like,
Yeah.
let's continue this. Like,
And then everybody's looking at you and like you know it. You can feel it.
oh yeah, you feel it, but it's worse when like you like glance up and they're staring at you. You're like, all right, that's my cue. I gotta go now.
Yes.
Like,
It is exactly like
That's
that.
funny. Same thing happens with podcasting too. I've heard like people that try to like cue, you know, hey,
Mm-hmm.
we're gonna wrap this up or whatever, but then like the guest or someone will say something else. And it's like, well, here
I
goes
told
no,
her,
yeah,
I
that's-
was
another 30
like,
minutes.
how much time do we have for this one? I think you told me like an hour. You're like, we ballparked like an hour, and I was like, oh, I need more time than that. I can talk for days.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Well, before I get to like our closing note, actually, I had no idea you didn't know what front of house meant. Like I'm always texting you like FOH.
Yeah. So what did you think that was?
Yeah.
I've never got an FOH.
Yeah, I'd be like, yeah, I'm dealing with FOH stuff, or like, you know, I'm still waiting on FOH.
I know.
And
You
you
never
were-
send me the text like that.
We'll have to look
Yeah.
back because like I've said that to you and I'd be like, I just thought you knew what I meant.
What? No, I don't think so.
Just like it's not
Maybe
been
you've
like,
done it like once.
it's
honestly.
not often, but
Yeah.
I've definitely sent it to you, and I had no idea you.
I didn't
know.
ask you. I'm like, what the hell's FOH?
No.
Like, wow, how would I know that?
I
I've
think
worked in like.
if
what,
you did get it, I think it's awesome that you just played along and just ignored it.
I don't
He's
even
like,
recall
whatever.
that.
So she's still dealing with
Maybe
stuff.
I thought you were talking about the podcast. I'm like, oh, she just did it wrong.
She just left a letter out.
Yeah, pretty much.
I don't know. I wouldn't put that past you. It's like, okay.
That is definitely something I would do. But I try to proofread
I've been
it.
editing all day.
That is so funny.
Because you do the thumbnails. Mm-hmm. Oh, that's it, really.
Yeah, you are literally the everything.
But you do it so well.
I do. I take a little bit of pride in some of them. I'm just like, ooh, this one turned out pretty cute. Have you seen them?
I've seen, yeah, I watched the stories.
I was really
Okay, yeah.
surprised. I was like, holy crap, these are great.
Shout out to Canva. Woot.
But I thought it was interesting, like, how people can just act so out of line being guests anywhere, really, right?
Mm-hmm.
But and then to them to go as far as to call you a child, it's so ironic because you're like, I'm not being the child here. Like,
Yeah.
you're
Right?
being
That's
the
what
child.
I thought that. I was like, let's take a step back.
Literally
Like,
arguing with like a 12-year-old
Yeah.
right now.
Yeah.
You're not understanding how this works.
Oh
you're
my
pitching a
gosh.
fit because of like you can't accept, like I can't accept this payment.
Yeah.
But no matter what, you're not paying for this meal. It's
Yeah.
going to be comped either
Yeah.
way by it's going to be comped by the resort.
Right.
So why are you acting like a child right now?
Like, well, you're not giving me the answer that I want to hear.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, I realize
Can't
that.
stand it.
Go to your room.
That
It's
is
insane.
It's
Like,
real.
Even
It happens
I had
all the
an
time.
incident at work. Well, I didn't have one, but there was an incident at
Mm-hmm.
work recently where this girl, she was just acting so unreasonable, you know? And I was like, to me, it was like I was talking to her daughter. I was like, oh my God. Like, this is like the exact same thing I was going with her daughter the other day. Like, it's to the T.
Yeah.
Like, she just wasn't understanding the logic that I was presenting to her. And I was like, it makes sense. Like, I get that you don't want to do it, but like, it makes perfect sense. Like, what is happening?
I remember.
Yeah, it was insane.
People suck.
Grown
They do.
people.
God.
They do.
Yeah, people don't grow up, you know?
No, they do not. It's so very weird. Yeah, everyone's kids still. But and then that's funny because like they're telling a manager that you're acting like a child. Like I'm trying to help you.
Yeah. I mean, sure. I'm sure there was like a huge age difference there, probably, and that's why they felt compelled to call you a child.
Yeah,
or
she
whatever.
was much older,
Yeah.
but
Okay.
just
Even then.
That makes
just
sense.
extremely immature.
Yeah.
Like
Dude, yeah, that's wild. I don't know. I just hate fucking privileged things like that. I don't know.
I can't stand
I
it.
never try to act on it. And even like if I run into a friend or an acquaintance, you know, and they're working, dude, I do my best to just be like, hey, what's up? And then like leave them alone, you know. I try not to bother them at all because I don't want to pull them away.
I tell my friends like I come off as an asshole when y'all come in, but like
Yeah.
I love it that y'all come in and pay respect for my business, but I hate it. Like I low key hate it because I feel obligated to go and like step away
Yeah.
from work
Right.
to go entertain them, and like it's a stress
Yeah.
thing. Like it stresses me out because, like you said, like you feel it. You feel
Just
everybody else
everyone.
working except for you
Yeah.
and getting pissed off. And like I've got one buddy who's like it was like those three people that came in. I don't know if you remember on that Sunday. I had three people come in and they weren't staying for anything. They were just like, hey, we're in the neighborhood. We want to pop in and say hello. And I was like,
Okay.
I was just like it's shell shock. I was like, hey, like
Oh.
haven't seen y'all in forever. Like wasn't expect like this is a surprise, but nice to see y'all. I'm
Yeah.
gonna go back to work. Like
Yeah.
I'm busy right
Yeah,
now.
yeah, yeah.
I texted my buddy. I was like, dude, I'm sorry if like I came off as an asshole, but like I just had a lot going on. He's like, don't apologize to me.
Yeah.
He's like, I get it. He goes, I told those girls that you were gonna be busy and like we don't come in on the weekends because of how busy you are.
Right. Yeah.
And I was like, okay, well, like, if you see or speak to them, tell them I'm sorry, like,
Yeah.
but like, we'll catch up another time.
Yeah,
And he was
for
like,
sure.
but it's just, I don't like it. I like
definitely not.
if I could get away with not having to go talk to them, or even better, not knowing that they're there,
Yeah.
that's even better for me.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
I'd much rather that, you know?
Because then also the pressure's on you too for like making sure they have a good time. It's like if they didn't have a good time,
Yeah.
then it's like
See, that's
Every other
that's
customer.
never bothered me.
really
That has, like, I don't know why, but that's never been a concerning issue for me. Like,
Yeah.
when people come in, like, stressing out about if their server's gonna take care of them properly, if their food's gonna be made correctly, it's just, I've always had that confidence that, like, it's gonna get done.
That's
But, like,
good.
but I've
Yeah,
always
that's
told
Yeah.
one of y'all, like, hey, these people are coming in, who's working, let's limit it to these people
Yeah.
to take care of their table.
Yeah.
And if it's any of those people, then I know it's like I don't have to worry about that. And then
okay.
the food
Yeah.
wise, I'm just like,
yeah, you've got that.
I'm gonna take
Yeah.
care of it. Like,
Yeah.
they're not gonna get skimped or anything, you know.
No, yeah, for sure.
But
Yeah.
yeah,
That makes a lot of sense. So there's a question that I've been wanting to ask like every guest. This is something that I wanted to do. Like I was like, this should be a staple. But then when I told people about it, they were like, that's kind of extreme.
bit invasive.
Maybe don't do that. But thankfully, since we work together, I was able to let you know ahead of time.
it's a good question.
Yes.
It is a good question. But I see, like, she told me, like, she discussed it with you, and
Yeah.
you're like, oh man, I don't know about. I see both sides of this.
No,
Of
yeah,
the
it's a
equation.
great question.
Like, but it's like, oh yeah, like, but it's like I said, like, I'm glad you asked me beforehand. That way I can give a good answer, and like I won't be put on the spot and be like,
Yeah.
oh, I don't know, or like embarrassed to be like,
Right, exactly.
because like I feel like if you ask that question on the spot,
Yeah.
without any heads up, they're either they're gonna be embarrassed no matter what. But they're either gonna be so embarrassed that they can't think of anything, or they're gonna be so embarrassed that they immediately think of the worst thing possible.
Yeah.
And then they're gonna have to try and like backtrack and come up with some other
yeah,
BS.
exactly.
Yeah.
Just lie or just
true.
like, no,
Yeah.
I can't say that right
You're
now.
not gonna
Sorry.
get like a truthful, honest answer,
Right,
you know.
yeah.
So,
So,
but
You ready?
oh yeah.
Yeah, because like ahead of time, I was like, "Can I test this on you?" What is your greatest disappointment?
So
just like right there.
yeah,
And go show everybody.
I think so. The only one that I've like really thought of that like I remember weighing a lot of like taking a big toll on me was back in college. I think I was 22 years old. I had failed another semester. So like at this point, the university was like, we're gonna kick you out
Oh no.
for grades, for your
Yeah.
GPA. And I'd been battling with the university, like, and keeping my grades up, like, because my second semester, I lost TOPS, which is just like a grant. Are you familiar with TOPS?
No, I assume by the
it's just
name
like,
of
it's
it,
a grant program, like, the state gives you money to pay for school. I lost that my second semester. So my third semester, I was put on probation for my grades. So my fourth semester was just like,
Yeah.
I fucked it up even more. And at this point, they were just like, we're just going to kick you out. Like,
dang.
you can't get it together. We're going to kick you out. And my parents found out about it because they got the email that your son's being kicked out of university. And I got a phone call from my parents that day. And like I had known about it. Like when
Yeah,
I took my last final, my grades were posted. I looked at and calculated my GPA, and I was like, "This is it. Like this is it. I'm gonna any day now. I'm gonna get this email, and it's gonna be followed by a phone call with my parents."
Yeah.
And they called me and just chewed me a new one.
Yeah.
Like this one. I've had some bad ones before, like getting yelled at or my ass kicked by my parents. That's nothing new to me, but this one was bad. Like,
Yeah.
and I remember like my mom's crying. She's like, we don't know what.
Oh, no.
She was like, we don't know what we're gonna. But like, it's one of those like angry cries. Like she's crying, she's
Okay.
yelling, she's angry, and
yeah.
I'm just like. And then my dad gets the phone. My mom's always been like the hardest between the two. Expect like with just me, I guess. I've always noticed. My dad's always been the one to just like, he doesn't yell. Like if he yells, you did something bad, and he doesn't like he was never the one to like spank us. It was always my mom, but my dad like he hits you with like the disappointment line. And I could tell he was angry by his tone of voice, and he was like, dude, you just don't have your shit together. Like he goes, and he hit me. He was like, I'll never forget this line. He's like, you realize at 22 years old, I was in management. I had you. I was married. I owned a house. All of this. At 22 years old, I was doing all of this, and you're getting kicked out of school. And I was just like, fuck. Like, that sucked. Like, that was a fucking shitty feeling. And I was like, yeah, I didn't like that one made me feel like the worst piece of shit ever. Dang. And I was like, and like, it hurt my feelings so much that like, I just started yelling at him right back.
No.
Yeah, because I was just like, I had a lot of anger back then. Like I was not one to shy away from an argument or picking a fight with somebody. So I just got into defense mode and just started like trying to defend myself and like plead a case. And he's like, you have no case to plead here, dude. He goes, how many times have we gone through this with school? Like we told you, like you have to get your grades up. You have to graduate.
Right.
Like, because I was the oldest. So I was the first one to go to college. I was going to be like the first one, like first grandson in both my families to like graduate from a university. So like a lot of weight was on me. And they wanted that for me. They were like, how are you going to succeed in life if you don't have a college degree? And like that was what I was like, you don't need that anymore. Like this isn't the American dream lifestyle that everybody like thinks it still exists or whatever.
Which has some truth to it, but like not the time.
Yeah, but I was such a young stupid kid that was just who thought I was smarter than everybody. And, But it ended up working out though because we filed an appeal. Filed an appeal, so I never got kicked out of school.
All right.
Nice.
I was able to stay in.
You lucky son of a bitch.
Yeah, dude, I was sweating on that one. Like, oh man, I think it took like a month to like hear back for that. And I was like, oh my god. I was like, I get to stay in school and fucking graduate. I was like, it was a weight lifted, and that was the end of that conversation. They were just like, please, like, don't do it. But like, I ended up switching to online classes because that was an issue. I was full-time in a fraternity, full-time management, and a full-time student, and I was like, I can't do this. Like,
that's a lot.
So I was like, obviously the smart decision to do is cut back on the party style. But that ain't happening. I cut back on school. I was like, I'm gonna go to a part-time student and take just online classes. Like I'm gonna do this on my own time, and that was the adjustment I made. It took me 6 years to graduate, but I graduated, so I have a degree. So
you did it.
I would have done the same thing. Like I'm not gonna stop partying. Like, come on, this is the only time I'm gonna get to do it like this.
Exactly. So like, I did that, but the funniest part about that though is like I love telling this part. That semester that I got that email that I was being kicked out of school was the same semester that I got voted for most outstanding fraternity brother in my fraternity. I was like,
outstanding.
I was like, this is the cherry on top right now.
You're an example.
And so your time in school is paid for with grants all the way through?
Oh no, dude! I immediately lost that.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So like, it only paid for like a large percentage of it.
Okay.
So yeah, it paid a large percentage. So I only had to owe like a little bit every semester.
Okay.
But then I lost it. And so it was like, oh, you're paying full.
And then it's stacked up.
You're paying full tuition. So that's when I started taking student loans out. And
Dang, that sucks.
Yeah. I just set all of that up too. Like last month when I was on vacation, I was like, you gotta do this. So I looked at it and we set it up. I think I have to start paying at the end of this month.
That's where everybody's
kicking
at.
back in.
I'm not looking forward to it. I asked her, I was like, what exactly is the punishment or consequences if I just forget that I have payments
Yeah.
and I just don't do this? And
Yeah.
she's like, John, you're scaring me right now. Like, what are you talking about? Like, why do you have this idea? And I was like, I don't have an idea. It's
curious.
It's curiosity. Like, if I just don't pay, like, can I get away with it?
Yeah.
And she was like, no. And I was like, okay. What if I fake my death?
That seems a lot
Can we get
harder.
away with this now? And she was like, pay your student loans. And I was like,
Something.
fine.
I have a friend who's not paying them. Like, he's just refused to pay them back, and nothing's
Nice.
happened yet.
She was like, where are you getting this idea from? I was like, I've seen people just like say,
The
screw
internet,
it.
yeah.
And I'm not going to pay.
It's there's a big movement on that. Like, a lot of people are like, no, like, why am I going to freaking pay that? Like, no.
So like my whole thing was like this back and forth of we're going to just wipe it all away. Like we're going to wipe student debt away and you won't have to worry about it. And then, oh, we're not going to do that. Oh, but we're going to do $10,000 at a time. And I was like, my thought is, if I just hold out just a little longer,
Yeah.
we can beat this thing.
I had a little bit of hope. I didn't at first. I was like, "There's no way that they're gonna do this," and like it's just another like campaign ploy, you know, whatever. But
Yeah.
Yeah,
then
no doubt.
it started looking better, and I was like, "Okay, maybe," but I still don't want to like give it all of my trust. And then,
Yeah.
eventually, I was just like,
And then
I
that-
knew it, man.
That cancellation was so heartbreaking because, like, they sent out all those emails that were like, "You were approved. We're just waiting to see if they tell us
Yeah.
that it's okay." And I was like, "Oh my god."
This is the biggest tease.
Yeah, that's so
It's-
heartbreaking.
it sucked.
Not the kind that I like either. Jesus.
So sorry about that.
Yeah, that was upsetting. And I didn't have to pull out loans until I attempted graduate school.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like, so I would have been fine, dude, before that. And then I was like, I need to get out of my hometown, you know, needed something to
Yeah.
do, make more money. And then I applied to this graduate program, got in, and that didn't work out. So now I just owe money for like nothing. I'm like, damn it. Yeah. It's not too much, though. I'll get it paid off eventually.
Must be nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not gonna have a Social Security.
Yeah. I mean, that's what they say that they're going to do as of now, right? Pull it from Social Security.
I think,
Yeah.
I'll be honest, you're asking the wrong person.
Yeah, that's what I've heard. So hopefully that doesn't happen. But if it does, like, I guess what else can you do, right? You just got to work till you die.
That's what they say. So if y'all know the answer to not paying your student loans, let us know. We'd love to find out.
Really
Just
appreciate it.
don't do it.
Don't tell my mom.
Don't
John-
tell John's mom. Okay?
This was fantastic. Thank you so much for coming.
I've had a blast.
dude,
Yeah.
appreciate it.
I've
This
had a
was fantastic.
blast.
We will definitely have you back on if you would love to join us again.
Yeah.
Oh, hell
We'll do
yeah.
Another one
Yeah.
for sure.
I want to come back for like a big episode though. Something that
Okay.
gives me a reason to, like the 100th episode or some shit like
Ooh.
that.
Well-
Give me a reason to wear a tuxedo on this.
I want to do like a Royal Rumble episode where we have all of the guests that we've had on, you know, and just do like a big group thing.
Like a
That'd be
roundtable.
dope.
Yeah.
That's cool. Yeah, because
That's it.
everybody's so
Everyone
different.
together, yeah.
Okay.
That would be really
And just
cool.
watch everyone's dynamics, you know, just like interact with each other.
I love it. So stay tuned for that. Thank
100th
y'all
episode,
so
let's
much.
do
Yeah, okay.
That's
Wear
a
a
good
suit on
one.
that day.
No, I will. Don't tell anybody else. I'm going to be the only one doing the
They're gonna
tuxedo.
watch it.
They'll forget about it. Or if they ask and be like, hey, is he really going to wear a tuxedo? Be like, no, he said that last time, but he chickened out. Like,
Okay, yeah.
and then I'm going to come in with the
I'll
tuxedo.
totally do
like,
that.
Yeah, I'm alright with that.
Yeah. So stay tuned for that. It sounds fantastic. I can't wait till we get there. Like, comment, subscribe. Thank y'all so much for watching.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Later.
Hi. Oh, I didn't introduce us.